Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 48th Rome Total War Brotherhood battle that I've put onto YouTube. This is an unusual battle for me to put onto YouTube, but you kind of won't notice that till the end. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Tigran, who has bought the Rome Julii faction, Kings Marcus, who has bought the Rome Scipii faction, Conan, Brotherhood member Conan, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. He is one of the co-founders of the Brotherhood clan and is a really experienced great player. And myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Carthage faction. This is a new experimental army that I've been trying out lately. So that's the team. It looks pretty good, full of experienced and skilled players. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Brotherhood member Tigran's army. If you have a close look at this army, you'll see it's not a standard 31k army. And one of the main different features is that he has got 7 archer units. And I think he's only got about 7 or 8 infantry. And the reason for this is because we're actually facing a Macedon team here, and as RTW players know, the Macedon pikemen are very susceptible to archer fire. So I think he's bought those 7 archer units just to make sure that he'll be able to kill a lot of the pikemen before we actually get engaged in the combat part of the battle. So he's kind of bought like I suppose you could say a specialist army to actually fight the Macedons there. And I just thought I'd show you the formation that Conan has done here. This is a pretty unusual formation here. As you see, it's kind of like a slight curve that he's done with his infantry. But also you'll notice that he has bought 4 archer units as well in his army. Once again, he's thinking of probably either killing the Macedon Cretan archers or inflicting as many casualties on the pike units as he can. So just thought that was an interesting thing to have a look at. And here is the other team. If you notice, I've paused the game here, and the reason I've done that is because right at the beginning of the game there is a very aggressive attack, and so I didn't want to miss the attack. The team we're up against is Leroy, who has bought the Germania faction. We have Brotherhood member Talos, who has called himself O in this game, and he has bought the Rome Brutii faction. Then we have Greeks Cleomenes, who has bought the Macedon faction. And then we have clan member Iberus, who's Tut Mosil, I believe is how it's pronounced, and he has bought the Greek factions, Greek cities faction. Should be a great battle to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, as you can see, we haven't even all set up yet. You can see that Brotherhood member Tigran is taking his Julii cavalry out towards the enemy Greek cities faction. Now, a lot of you will be probably thinking, why is he taking cavalry out towards pikes? And the reason he's doing that is because he's looking for maybe to disrupt the enemy lines, so he'd be able to hit some of the archer units within the Greek city faction. What he was hoping was that he could probably get a couple of cavalry units around the flank or around the rear maybe to hit some of those Cretan archers, because you know the Cretan archers are a very powerful archer unit within the Greek cities armies, and if he can actually kill some, that would be great. As you can see here, he's taking 1 unit up now, probably hoping that one unit might just be able to move fast enough to hit maybe 1 or 2 of those archer units there. As you see, the archer units now are quite exposed, and if he charges into some, he could inflict some serious damage to some of those units. As you can see, they're running the Greek cities generals now running over a pike unit to try and counter that cavalry hit there on his archers. If you notice, also Tigran is running his army out here as well. He's also got his archers shooting, ready to fire at the Greek cities there as well, if he gets a chance, as they're running to form up. As you know, Spartans head-on can take archer fire without suffering many casualties, but if you can shoot them in the sides or the rear, you can inflict a lot of damage on them. So that was a very aggressive move by Tigran right at the start of the game, and I think it's a good thing to do if you can see an advantage, whatever stage of the game. Just go for it. And it's just, I bet he's wishing he just could have killed a few more of those archer units and inflicted a bit more damage. But the enemy have brought cavalry reinforcements out there now. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at Greeks Cleomenes' Macedon army there. If you look closer, you'll see that he's got 18 Royal Pikemen units there of 120 men per unit. So he's actually got over 2,000 pike infantry there facing us, and that is a heck of a lot of pikemen. As you can see, with Greek cities pikemen as well, plus the Germania and the Roman faction on this team, I think this team's going to be very difficult to stop, and it should be a great battle to watch. Here you can see some very old-fashioned tactics going on here. If you see that Conan and Marcus are using their cavalry generals to be kind of a nuisance to the enemy team here. The specifications on those cavalry armoured generals are so good, they can kind of charge into enemy cavalry, infantry or cavalry, and cause disruption to the enemy lines without suffering hardly any casualties. It's an old-fashioned tactic, but it still works well today. Here you can see over on the far left that Tigran has charged some cavalry into the rear of a Spartan unit and has routed it over there to the left, and is now pulling his cavalry out as more pike units are heading his way. In the centre here you can see that the Greek cities of Macedon are forming up side by side and moving forward. At the moment, I'm with my pike army, I'm watching the berserkers very closely at the back of the enemy line there. As you know, when the berserkers charge, they can cause armies to rout, so I'm watching them very closely, because if they charge into pike units, that usually kills them quite quickly, but if they charge into my allies' Rome army, then that could cause them to rout there. As you can see, the Germania effective against armour axemen are moving out there on the left behind some Greek city units. And as you can see now, the Macedon army is now moving over to the left flank as well. All the time here, all the archers that my team had bought are actually peppering the Macedon pikemen and the archers that he's bought as well. So there's a heck of a lot of archer fire going into that Macedon team at the moment. As you can see, the Greek cities are now moving forward to engage Marcus's infantry there. I'm not sure if you know this for new RTW players, but if a massive army like that Macedon army with those 2,000 plus infantry attack, it lowers the morale of the enemy team that he's actually advancing on. Obviously, because the enemy army facing them realise how many enemy troops there are in that army, and it tends to lower morale and can cause a rout. So with that massive Macedon army moving forward onto my allies, I'm in a bit of a dilemma. Should I keep my army back ready for the Berserker hit, or should I run over and engage the massive Macedon army that could start steamrolling through my my allies' troops there? As you see, the Macedon army is running forward now. Some of its units are running forward, and then they'll just put their pikes down ready for the engagement. As you can see, some of my allies are starting to rout now. So what I'm going to have to do, I think, is take my my pike army across and block the progress of the Macedon pikemen here. As you can see, the berserkers have just been activated on the far left there. As you can see, the red flashing lights are showing the berserkers have been activated, so they are now attacking my allies' infantry there. What I'm hoping here is that yes, they're probably going to rout some of my allies' infantry up there, but hopefully they'll run down towards my pike army, and that's what I really hope they're going to do, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to reinforce my left flank with pikemen, so that if those berserkers charge down onto me, then they'll be charging into set pikemen. And what I mean by set pikemen is that they're just stood there with their pikes down ready to receive the attack. As you can see, there are masses of Macedon pikemen there attacking me as well. So and as you can see, the effective against armour German axemen have come round to our left. There's a close-up of the berserkers fighting there. And as you can see, we've just killed the Macedon general there, which is going to lower the morale of the Macedon troops. And there you see the Berserkers now have actually come into my pike units. Can you see them? They're actually attacking into the pike, which is what I wanted them to do. I've reinforced those pike units now to take the impact of those Berserkers. And I'm hoping that the pikemen will kill those Berserkers before they can do too much more damage. As you can see, my allies are really backing me up by sending in their infantry as well. If you notice now, the Germania effective against Axemen, armour Axemen have got round to our left now and are trying to move in behind my army there. As you can see, my allies sent some cavalry in to try and counter that tactic. But all the time I've got Macedon, there's a couple of Berserker units left, and some Greek city units are also attacking my Carthage army at the moment. And if you notice, a big mass of German cavalry have just come in behind us as well. If you notice, I've turned my general facing them to try and defend the rear of my my fighting pikemen there, to keep that German cavalry off of my units. If you notice now, I think there's only one Berserker unit still left fighting, and I think he's just been killed there. And that's because the plan kind of worked with them charging down onto my pike units, and my pike units managing to kill them there. But if you notice now, the battle's really developing into little battles all over the place here. If you notice, my Carthage army is managing to hold up some Greek city units, is holding up enemy Brutii units, and is still fighting with the long pikes of the Macedon army there as well. There's so much stuff going on all over the battlefield, it's difficult to catch everything, so I'm just trying to give you a panoramic view so you could be able to watch and see exactly what's going on all over the battlefield there.
Their general has been killed.
As you can see, our allies just lost his general, so that's as you may know, that will now lower the morale of his troops. So at the moment, things are not looking very good for our team at the moment. I think from what I can see now, all of our allied cavalry are now dead. So that means that the enemy team now has got free range to use their cavalry on the battlefield, which is always bad for a team who's fighting free ranging cavalry when they've got no cavalry of their own. You can see my Carthage army is still managing to hold out there. But I think Conan on my right there, you see the Julii Conan there, he's still managing to hold there, but a lot of his units are starting to rout with the cavalry impacts on them as well. At this stage of the battle, I thought I'd pause the game so you can have a look and take stock of the situation of the battle at the moment. As you can see now, I think most of my allies have been killed now, and it's just kind of my Carthage army, most of my Carthage army left. And we're still up against a heck of a lot of enemy troops here, so at the moment things are not looking very good for our team. Let's say there's Macedon units left, enemy Brutii, enemy Greek cities, and some of the Germania units are left. So at this stage of battle, things are not looking very good for our team.
We're under attack.
As you can see, this enemy Brutii cavalry charging in. I was hoping I think my general did catch some of those cavalry as they came through, but they've charged in now into my pike units and have routed a lot of the two other allied Julii infantry units have just been routed there as well. So as you can see now, I think all my allies now have been, after a fantastic fight, have all been routed now. So and there's a heck of a lot of Greek city units left, and as you can see, there's enemy free roaming cavalry all over the battlefield as well. So I think this is going to be a very close game, but looking at what the enemy have got left in comparison to us, I don't think it's looking very good for our team at this time.
Your general has been killed. This may cause panic in your army.
As you can see, there's so many Greek city units left. They're going to be difficult to stop with their 2 hit points, so that's going to be difficult enough. And then you can see there's a heck of a lot of Brotherhood member Talos's Brutii army left on the battlefield as well, both cavalry and infantry here. So I think that as you can see, as you can watch the battle unfold here, you can start to see some of my my Carthage units start to rout. There's some good moves by Talos here, bringing his infantry in behind my pike units there. It's very good moves. And there you are, some Germania cavalry charging in, and bang, straight in the back of those Carthage units. The Sacred Band, the Carthage Sacred Band, are fighting really well here, and as those of you that have fought with them before will know, they'll try and fight to the last man. But I think looking at this stage of the battle, it's looking at, if you like, that old saying, a bridge too far. I just don't think they're going to manage to hold here. They're now surrounded, and I think the last of there you go, the last of my Carthage army is just routed there. So that was a really great battle, and really well played the enemy team there, and really well played my team as well. If you look at the dead on the battlefield, you can see how tough this battle was. Yep, so I'd just like to say really well played to everybody in the game. When I first started putting Brotherhood YouTube battles on, a lot of people asked me if I would ever put a defeat on to YouTube. And I always said that if I thought it was a good game and it would be entertaining for people to watch, then yes, of course I would put a defeat on to YouTube. And I think this was a great battle to watch. Also, another unusual thing here is if you notice that 2 of the players in the losing team have got the 2 highest kills in the game. Now this is unusual because sometimes you might get 1 player in the losing team that's got the highest kill count, but to have 2 players in the losing team that have got the highest kills in the game is very unusual. So as you can see, this was a really close battle there, and I say, if you look at the kill count, and if you look at one of the third members in the losing team, he was only about 3 off of actually being the 3rd highest kills in the game as well. So this was a very unusual battle in that respect. So I hope you enjoyed it. Both teams played extremely well there, and I think it really did come down to being extremely close towards the end there, and I hope you enjoyed it. So this is Spartan Commander saying I hope you enjoyed the battle and look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.